I have noted all your points, Mr. Perkins, but I'm unable to promise that I'll sign this oil contract.
But, Your Highness, just think of the enormous wealth that you and your
I also noted anxiety, Mr. Perkins, but you must accept that Mahmoud is my country and I shall rule as I see fit.
Father, wouldn't it be possible to leave this in abeyance for a month and then reconsider?
I believe you enjoy our coffee, Mr. Perkins.
Of course, Your Highness.
I think it's jolly super too.
Wait, Ross.
Oh, so sorry.
Don't worry, Mr. Ross. Just a vain custom in our part of the world. The ruler drinks first. A bit bitter. Yeah. Now then, I propose that we take all your suggestions back to Mahmoud with us. But I fear that my answer will remain.
He's dead.
Don't touch the coffee, anybody. It must have been poisoned.
The hell was in it?
The will of Allah?
Salam, which is hello in Arabic, and welcome back to WHODUNNIT, where Sheikh Al-Rayani Mashaid has just said salam, which also happens to be Arabic for goodbye. And to find out who did it, our panel this week consists of one of our ex-regulars, and looking as beautiful as ever, Anushka Hempel. Lisa Goddard has gone off to do a play, but her place for the next few weeks will, I'm sure, be ably filled by the lady who's on next from What's On Next, Anna Dawson. A first-time welcome for one of the tomorrow people who managed to get here today, Michael Holloway. And a special welcome back to our last guest, who is about to make a new series for Thames called Funny Man, my old friend Jimmy Jewell. Incidentally, for Bloodhound fans, Patrick Mower is out night shooting, whatever the hell that means. Right, let's get back to Sheikh Mashaid's luxury penthouse suite. Who else could afford it in a London hotel? Inspector Hitchcock has arrived, and any similarity to the highly successful master of cinema crimes is most unlikely.
Very unpleasant, sir.
Yes, Kerrison. Poison does that to people. Ah, that explains it.
What, sir?
I thought there was a shortage of sparrows in Hyde Park this morning. It must have been a very fast-acting poison, but we must wait for the autopsy to ascertain its nature.
Sir?
Ah. Excuse me, Your Highness?
Just call me Ahmed, Inspector.
But you are now the ruler, Ahmed.
Yes, sir. Well, as the ruler of
Mahmoud, Inspector. It's a small country between Oman and the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, yes, I know, sir. On the Persian Gulf.
We prefer to call it the Arab Gulf.
Oh, yes, sir, of course, the Arab Gulf. Oh, by the way, sir, before I go any further, there is the question of diplomatic immunity. Do you wish to apply for it?
Not just at the moment, but I'll tell you when I do.
Very well, sir. Then I will continue with my preliminary questioning. Now, as I understand it, Sheikh Al-Rayani Mashaid drank some of that coffee and then died while you were all sitting here.
Not Miss Roberts. Jenny was in another room through there. Jenny is my fiancée. Unfortunately, my father was old-fashioned about marrying foreign infidels, but now I am the ruler. Things will be quite different.
You should live in Britain, sir. We marry infidels all the time over here. Now, your name is, sir?
James Perkins, Inspector, Chairman of Perry Lloyd Oil. We're negotiating an oil contract with Mahmoud.
Which I'm sure will not be granted. My father, you see, was not at all progressive. He held our country on a tight rein and believed that sudden wealth would undermine the old way of life.
Lucky for you, Mr. Perkins.
Lucky?
Yes, that the Sheikh has passed on. And you, sir?
David Ross, personal assistant to Mr. Perkins. I translate into action all his biddings.
Biddings?
He does what I tell him to do.
I see. And that leaves...
Saeed Haddad. I am the Sheikh's younger brother, but I am not in line for becoming ruler. It has been agreed by the council that Ahmed would assume that.
Is that normal, sir?
My brother was not a healthy man. He had a heart condition, so such precautions were taken in case of his sudden death.
But it was more sudden than expected. And who is that over there?
Abdul, my brother's bodyguard.
Ah.
You're surprised?
Oh, no, sir, no, sir. In London we're quite used to seeing Arab bodyguards crouching outside their masters' houses. At least I've always presumed they're crouching.
Yes. Yes, it is the Arab equivalent of your sitting down. You see, until quite recently we were all a little short of chairs. Abdul is also a manservant. He is an Omani and he does not speak very much English, I'm afraid.
So he must have poured out the coffee.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he did. He brought it in from that anteroom there, and my brother indicated that it was time for him to serve it.
Your Highness, these offshore drillings won't affect conservation in any way at all.
But it will, Mr. Perkins. Foreign workers will bring alien customs with them.
But, Father, if we use labor from a neighboring country, then...
Abdul, coffee. If there are any other points to be discussed, we will review them now before I conclude this meeting.
Your Highness, you must understand that my company has spent a considerable amount already on exploration. And now, having found the oil, the only way we can recoup that capital is by getting the oil onto the open market.
Your projected figures estimate 500,000 barrels a day.
In a few years, yes.
Oh, I think we can be a little more exact about that.
Now, Ross.
500,000 is far too much. If there was a way of producing a bare minimum for my necessities...
Your Highness, we've got to produce enough oil to cover the cost of exploration and drilling, let alone worrying about any profit.
I appreciate that, Mr. Perkins, but let me have your fountain pen, Saeed. But you were the one who insisted on the exploration, so you can't expect me to be responsible for the costs. Now then, if we take away the projected land sites and half the offshore potential, that leaves us... I see. Well, I have noted all your points, Mr. Perkins, but I'm unable to promise anything.
And the rest you know already, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, the Sheikh made these notes with this pen. May I?
Certainly.
Then he crossed out some figures and wrote 2,000 barrels at the side. Yes, it's a very nice pen, sir.
You can keep it. It's always breaking down.
I'm afraid we're not allowed to accept gifts, sir. Tell me, without any oil revenues, how is it that the Sheikhdom of Mahmud can afford such surroundings as this?
Gold. We sent gold to India.
You mean gold smuggling?
We prefer to call it gold trading. The price in India is much higher than anywhere else. It was enough to keep my father and his immediate family in style, but it didn't help the rest of our people much.
But the oil would?
Yes. With oil, we should be able to fair gallop out of the 16th century.
Does your family always stay in this hotel, sir?
No, we usually stay in a smaller hotel in Kensington, but we gave that up this year. Too many Arabs about.
Of course, they don't call it Saudi Kensington for nothing.
Oh, that's very good, sir.
Now, that coffee pot.
It's from Oman.
Really? I wondered where it came from immediately before somebody, presumably Abdul, placed it there.
Well, it was outside in that anteroom. Abdul put it on a heating device before he brought it in here. I checked it before the meeting started when I came outside to see Jenny.
Everything all right?
So far, so good, darling. The meeting's about to start, so no one will come out here while it's on.
How long have I got?
Oh, 15 minutes at the most. My father is never going to agree to the oil contract. He just wants time to stand still in Mahmud.
Did you speak to him about us?
Well, yes. I'm afraid he's never going to agree to me marrying an outsider. But don't forget he's got a bad heart. And when I become ruler, nothing can stop us.
What about your Uncle Saeed?
Oh, he won't be any trouble. My father has restricted his life so much, he can't wait for his own dear brother to drop dead.
Maybe he wants to become ruler.
No, you don't know my uncle. All he wants is to get the oil pumping, be handed £1 million or two, and then enjoy life for the rest of his days. He has no political ambitions.
You won't have many days left if you forget your insulin.
Oh, yes. Thank you, darling. I'll be back to you as soon as I can. But don't let my father see you. And after that, I went back into there, and when my father came in, the meeting began.
And the coffee was still here when you joined the others?
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sergeant. Is this the case that you said Miss Roberts gave to you?
Yes, it's my insulin case. I'm a diabetic. As a matter of fact, I injected myself before the meeting began. I didn't mention it because I didn't think you'd be interested in diabetics injecting themselves.
Well, I'm very sorry you suffer from diabetes, sir, but I was wondering what had happened to the syringe.
I've got it here. I must have forgotten to put it back into the box. Is it important?
I don't know, sir. Of course, you use it for insulin.
That's right.
But it could be used for injecting something else.
Like what?
Like poison into coffee.
Welcome back to WHODUNNIT, where the Sheikh of Mahmoud has sipped some coffee, which put him straight into an instant coffin. The Sheikh's son Ahmed and brother Saeed are the ones dressed in white tents. Jenny Roberts is the girlfriend, James Perkins the oil man, and Dave Ross is the idiot.
Turn to the coffee, if we may. Did anyone else go into the anteroom before the coffee was served?
Oh, yes, I rather think I did.
Think you did, sir?
Well, no. I mean, I know I did. But I didn't go out there just to see the coffee. You see, at one point during the course of the meeting, the Sheikh and his family withdrew into the bedroom. Sort of sub-conference, I suppose, leaving Mr. Perkins and myself in here.
Right. By the look of things, we'll have to go into Plan B pretty soon.
Isn't that a bit premature, sir?
Oh, don't be an idiot, Ross. Or at least try not to be.
No.
If we don't get some oil out of Mahmoud, we'll be in big trouble.
Well, couldn't we just sit on it till the old man's sticker packs up?
We can't. All the capital we use for exploration is borrowed. If we don't start producing oil soon, our little company is going to the wall. Now, where's that map for Plan B?
Oh, I've left it in my briefcase in the anteroom.
Well, don't just sit there. Go and get it.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Miss Roberts. Did I startle you?
No, I was afraid it was Ahmed's father. I'm not supposed to be out here.
Oh, couldn't resist a cup of coffee, eh?
No, I was just admiring the Somani coffee pot. They're beautifully made, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. Well, you'll have to excuse me. I've got to get something from my briefcase.
How's it going in there?
Oh, as badly as can be expected. Oh. If those are for a headache, I wouldn't mind one myself.
No, they're phenylbutazone.
Good grief. What's that for?
I've got some overcalcification in my shoulder joint. The pills help the calcium to spread out through your body again.
Which sounds rather nasty.
Oh, it's nothing, really. I don't think I'll bother with these. It's much better now. Anyway, they sometimes give you indigestion. Good luck.
What? Oh, yes. Thank you. Vodka and tonic, please, with lemon. Oh.
Lemon?
Oh, roughly gonna...
Don't worry, Your Highness. The exact amount of the royalties is still negotiable, as far as we're concerned. It's the basic principle I want to establish first.
Dankeschön.
So you agree to our new figures?
I don't say I agree, Your Highness, but they are negotiable.
Father, these royalty estimates are purely academic unless you agree to go ahead on the drilling.
I'm quite aware of that, Ahmed.
Could we not come to some arrangement whereby the foreign labour we have to import could be withdrawn again after the construction is finished?
Said, I have seen what has happened in other states. It is easier said than done.
Your Highness, I think there is a way.
Ah? A change of plan, Mr. Perkins, eh? Tell me.
Where is it?
Oh, it's over there.
Your Highness, if you wouldn't mind coming over here, I think I could probably show you better. Now, these markings show the intended drilling sites both onshore and offshore. If we cut out the onshore drillings for a start, we can move into a much more contained operation.
I follow your point, Mr. Perkins. Said, are you not going to join us, Said?
In a moment, I'm just filling my fountain pen.
Ahmed, go out and buy your uncle a new pen tomorrow. That one is always going wrong. Now then, Mr. Perkins, are you suggesting that you only drill offshore here and base the labor in a neighboring country?
If they will agree, yes.
But eventually you will want to spread out. And then immediate growth will affect my country's conservation.
Your Highness, these offshore drillings can't affect conservation in any way at all.
And the rest you've learnt already from what Saeed told you earlier, Inspector.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. A most remarkable memory. There are just 3 points I would like to check. First, the Sheikh did sip his orange juice during the meeting.
Yes? What's that got to do with it?
It was a fast-acting poison, and he would have died earlier if the juice had been effected. Second point, Miss Roberts, have you still got those phenylbutazone tablets?
No, I flushed them down the loo.
Pity.
I didn't want any trace of my presence to be found by Ahmed's father.
Did you think you could be traced through your pills?
Well, he knew I took phenylbutazone.
And no one else does, I presume. Mr. Perkins, point 3. When Mr. Ross went into the anteroom, how long were you in here on your own before the others rejoined you?
I'm not sure. Not more than a minute. What difference could 1 minute make?
That is what we're here to find out, sir. By the way, your father said that the coffee was bitter just before he died, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Is this the cup from which your father drank?
Yes.
So this must be your cup, Mr. Perkins, I presume.
Correct.
Sergeant, taste that coffee.
It's very bitter, sir.
So, the Sheikh was right.
Now I think would be a good time, Inspector.
Time for what?
Time to claim diplomatic immunity.
Well, in spite of diplomatic immunity, we've managed to persuade His Highness Ahmed Mashaid to come into the studio for questions. He thinks he's going to be on This Is Your Life, actually. Now then, panel, what part of the action would you like repeated so you could help to sort it all out? Anushka, what would you like to see again?
I think I'd like to see the bit where Saeed fills his fountain pen.
Saeed fills his pen?
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you shall. Michael?
Yes, I think I'd like to see the bit where Mr. Ross, he seemed to hesitate to drink the coffee. The bit just before that, please.
Thank you, Michael. Anna?
I'd like to see the bit where Jenny and Ahmed are discussing their future in the oil deal outside.
Beautifully pronounced. Ahmed, yes. So you shall. Jimmy?
I'd like to see it all again, because I don't know what the hell it's all about.
Yes.
No, I'd like to see the bit where Mr. Saeed is fiddling with a bottle. It was ink, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, dear.
So you shall. Yes, dear. Yeah.
Fiddled or filled?
Fiddled.
Fiddled. I'm doing filled. You've got fiddled.
I've got
Fiddled and filled.
Oh.
Yes, you double act. Right. While we're finding those clips, the suspects have now joined us, so let's have a question from each of the panel. Nushka, start the ball rolling. Let's have a question, please.
Yes, Ahmed, why did you think it was poison immediately, you know, sort of, instead of a heart attack when your father died?
Because my father hadn't had a heart attack for some time, and I thought there were many vested interests which would be contrary to his health.
I see, thank you.
Michael?
Yes, I'd like to ask Said, actually. Why, if your pen keeps breaking down, why didn't you buy another one? Surely you can afford another pen.
Yes, I could afford another pen, but that one was given to me by a very old friend. I was very reluctant to part with it.
Yes, very sentimental. Yes, Anna.
Jenny, did you actually live in the palace?
Where, in Mahmoud? No, I've never been to Mahmoud.
So do you know much about the customs that went on in the...
No, not at all.
Nothing at all. Cool.
Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah, Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Mr. Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Ahmed. Sounds German. Mr. Ahmed, I see you have drinks in your suite. Do you drink alcohol?
Oh, no, just fruit juice and milk.
Milk. So you're a milkshake?
Yes, quickly. Let us quickly pass from Jimmy Jewel. We're ready for the first replay. And the first replay is for you, Michael. You are to see the bit where Dave Ross nearly drinks his coffee before the Sheikh drinks his. Here it comes then, another British diplomatic boob.
I believe you enjoy our coffee, Mr. Perkins.
Of course, Your Highness.
I think it's jolly super too.
Wait, Ross.
Oh, so sorry.
Don't worry, Mr. Ross.
Jolly super too, yes. Does that help you at all?
Yes, it does, actually, thanks.
Good. Any questions?
Yes, Abdul, do your feet go to the end of those shoes?
Lemon.
What was that?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Lemon.
Lemon.
Oh, lemon.
Yes,
Lemon.
yes, quite so. There.
Absolutely.
Yes. Any other questions you'd like to ask? No? Anna, a question.
Yes, hang on.
Jimmy.
Yeah. No, I've got one.
You've got one.
Yes,
Good,
yes.
fine.
Jen, how quickly, you know those tablets you were waving about, those Alka-Seltzer things, do they dissolve very quickly?
In water?
Yeah.
Yes,
no, when you take them into your bloodstream.
No, actually, you do dissolve them in water.
Ah.
That's why I had a glass of water in my hand.
Thank you.
Ah.
Thank you, sir.
That was
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Jimmy?
Mr. Perkins, what made you take on Benny from Crossroads as your assistant?
I thought you'd ask me that. I was his father's fag at school. I wanted to get my own back.
Oh, I see.
He was his father's fag at school, is he?
Oh,
Father's
Mr.
fag.
Ross, where did you work before you worked for Mr. Perkins?
Oh, before Mr. Perkins. Sorry. Oh, the Inland Revenue.
What area did you work from?
Do you know Collindale?
Yeah.
I worked for Collindale.
You're the bloke that's got all my money.
Danushka.
Well, yes, Mr. Perkins, talking about money and things, how far in debt are you? I mean, what's your situation?
3 million.
Oh, that's not strictly true.
Shut up, Ross.
I see. When you've decided, you'll let me know later.
Yes,
Thank you
indeed.
so much.
Yes, Michael.
Yes, I'd like to ask Said again. Is there any fighting going on in Mahmoud?
Not at the moment, no. There's a peaceful situation there.
Thank you.
Yes, Jimmy?
Mr. Ross, do you always have a lemon in your drink?
It depends what I'm drinking.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Anna.
Mr. Ross, would you say your boss is a bit peculiar? You know, eccentric.
Yes.
I've never really thought about it. Are you peculiar?
I don't think we want to go into that too deeply. Yes, yes, Anna. Again, any question? No.
No.
Anushka.
Yes, Said, I'd like to know, are you married?
Oh, yes, very much so. Yes, I have 3 wives.
You've got 3 wives.
Oh, is it 4?
Since
I have
when?
4 wives.
So do you have a problem keeping them financially? I mean, do they eat an awful lot? Are you sort of...
No, none that I've noticed. No.
Not that you've noticed. Is that because they wear those amazing white tents and you can't really see?
Yes, you have it.
Right, thank you very much.
Yes, Jimmy?
Abdul, now before you get your weapon out, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, did you put anything in the coffee?
Lemon.
He's doing an advert for Wilkinson's sauce. What do you wear under your Cafcom?
Oh, hang about. We've got the buzzer, and that means that's the next replay, which is yours, Jimmy. You've got a thing about Said's ink bottle, haven't you? So here comes the immortal moment when Said screws the top back on his ink
These
bottle.
offshore drillings won't affect conservation in any way at all.
But it will, Mr. Perkins. Foreign workers will bring alien customs with them.
But, Father, if we use labour?
Yes, Jimmy.
Wasn't any help at all, really.
It never is it?
Can I just ask
Yes, of course you
Abdul a que- Abdul, that's a fine head of skin you're growing. What do you actually wear under the Cafcam?
Lemon.
Well, in that case, you better suck it and see.
Oh, yes, Mr. Joel.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Anushka.
Well, yes, I noticed with Jimmy's playback thing that Said, you actually screwed the top on the ink bottle, and then you took your pen out. Why did you do? Wouldn't you take your pen out then unscrew the ink bottle? What
unscrewed.
What didn't you synchronise there?
Did I not synchronise?
It didn't seem to be so. You sort of
It
put
seemed
the lid back
perfectly
on the
all right
ink
to me.
bottle, put that down, then you took your pen out of your pocket.
I wonder why I did that.
I wonder too. You couldn't explain it right now. It would help me an awful lot if you did.
No, I don't think he can explain it.
I don't think
it's something you happened to do at the time.
Yeah.
Did I really do it that way?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, Michael.
Yes, seemed to me so.
Yeah. Question to Ross. What exactly did you think Jenny was doing with the coffee when you walked in?
Well, she had a coffee cup in her hand and a coffee pot in her other hand. I assumed she was going to have a cup of coffee.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
What a very, very good answer. Jimmy?
Jenny, what did you say those pills were for?
They're phenylbutazone for overcalcification of the shoulder joint.
It's funny, you know, my wife's on the pills. She gets no trouble with her shoulder.
Maybe she's on the wrong pill.
In fact, it's the opposite, if anything.
Jenny, I was going to ask you, do you get any sort of presents from Ahmed? Does he give you anything? Is he very generous? Does he sort of trinkets and things?
Yes, a little something every now and again.
Little roses and things like that?
No.
Nice little...
I got a tiara, wasn't it, from Tiffany's?
Yes, a tiara.
Oh,
No, he bought me for an engagement present a Porsche.
Oh, isn't he lovely? Did you nick
Such
it
a
from
pretty
your...
colour too.
Let me break up, Mr. Somebody gets a free motor car for saying that, I'm sure. Now, Anna Dawson, this is your replay. You wanted a rerun on Ahmed's little romantic scene with his fiancée Jenny. Either that or you must be interested in Ahmed getting the needle, I think. Have a look.
Political ambitions.
You won't have many days left if you forget your insulin.
Oh, yes. Thank you, darling.
Yes, Anna? Any questions?
How long had you known Ahmed?
Was it 18 months?
Yes, we
About that.
met in the lift at Harrods.
Yes.
I see.
He was
And how
late.
long had you actually lived in or near the palace or been connected?
I've never been to Mahmoud. I'm not allowed. At least I wasn't allowed there.
But you
Before
knew
his
your way.
father.
You knew your way into the palace and where to meet him and things like that.
No, we've
No,
never
she
been to the
hasn't-
palace.
she
We've
hasn't
always
been to
met
the
in
palace.
London.
This isn't a suite in London, Miss Dawson.
Oh, I see.
Where the situation is not in the palace, this is in a suite in London. Yes,
Jenny,
Anushka.
you're no relation to, who is it? James Perkins at all, are you?
Good God, no.
No, just checking.
Yes, no.
Thank you.
What is the name of the country, please?
Mahmoud.
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 Yes.
I thought he was playing for Scotland in the World Cup. Mahmoud sounds like a Scotchman.
Yes, Michael. I think I'll take me time. The
Anna?
precious. The precious.
Where is Mahmoud exactly? I mean, you know, where on the map?
Who are you directing the question to?
You.
To me. It's between Oman and the United Arab Emirates. It's on the north coast of Africa.
I see. Thank you.
Big guy.
Yes, Anushka.
Said, have you got another fountain pen on you?
No, I
No
only
more.
have one.
Only that one.
Yes, I'm very fond of it.
Yes, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Jenny, have you ever been to an Arabic country before? I mean, the difference living in England, won't it?
Oh, it will be, yes.
I mean, you'll be one of a few thousand out there if you're going to marry him, won't you?
I beg your pardon?
Well, he has a sort of harem. Don't you have a harem out
Oh,
there?
no, he's one of the more...
Oh, I shan't go there then.
Yeah, ready for the last replay? This is for you, Anushka. You asked to see Saeed filling his fountain pen from his ink bottle. A very good point. Or is it just a ball point? I don't know. Keep watching.
Follow your point, Mr. Perkins. Saeed, are you not going to join us, Saeed?
In a moment. I'm just filling my fountain pen.
Ahmed, go out and buy your uncle a new pen tomorrow.
Yeah. What a pretty face. Yes, did you...
Yeah, sorry.
Did that help at all?
You didn't fill your fountain pen then?
I did.
Oh, really?
Well,
Didn't
I was
look
in
like
the
it.
process. I was just about to plunge it into the...
I see, we cut too soon.
into the bottle. You cut too soon, yeah.
It's the story of my life.
Really?
That's slow moving.
Come to Mahmoud.
Yes, Anna. Jimmy.
Mr. Saeed, when you were filling your fountain pen from the ink bottle, why did you have to fill it at that particular... Had the pen run out?
Oh, yes.
It had?
It had, of course. It was empty.
And why did you offer to give it to the other person and say, you can have it as a present, when it was so sentimental to you?
Well, I think it is something that a man in Mr. Perkins' position should have understood, that you do not ask an Arab or suggest that something is very beautiful because he has to give it to you.
Does he? Well, give us £1 million then. Or can I have an oil well?
I haven't got it yet.
Yes, Anna.
Ahmed, why did you suddenly ask for diplomatic immunity at the end?
My idea was to wait and see who had in fact committed the crime and then ask for diplomatic immunity.
I see.
Otherwise, if I'd claimed diplomatic immunity at the outset, I would have been exempt from the solution. Are you clear? Yes?
Yes.
Have I helped you?
Thank you.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Mr. Perkins, actually, how did a small outfit like yours manage to beat the big 5 oil companies to the Mahmoud deal?
Beg your pardon?
I'll say it in English this time. How did a small outfit like yours manage to beat the big 5 oil companies to the Mahmoud deal?
Oh, well, you see, I met Ahmed in Kuwait, where we had some drillings before which went dry, and he asked my company to move in.
OK, thanks.
Yes, Jimmy.
Mr. Perkins, what is your exact position with the oil company? And if you don't get the contract signed, does your job go for a Burton?
I think you can safely say yes.
It'd go for, well, yes.
I was chairman of Perry Lloyd Oil. I am chairman of Perry Lloyd.
But I mean, does your job depend on getting the oil contract signed?
Well, I shall be in a lot of trouble because I owe £3 million.
You do?
Yes.
Yes, Anushka.
I'm glad I'm not your bank manager.
Yeah, and Dave, I want to know how far would you go for your boss, Mr. Perkins, to secure this contract?
Oh, in no way at all. I just work for him. It's
You're
just a job.
Just a job?
Yes.
There's nothing in it for you? There's no percentage or
Oh,
a rake
certainly
or
not.
for a...
No.
No?
No.
Yes, oh, tinkle, tinkle. And that's the little bell in my head, and I hope in yours. And it means that it's time for the panel to write down who they think did it. And any oily clues that you may have spotted on the surface, if you don't mind. Well, while we're looking, here's your extra clue, in case you want to change your mind. Now, if you can work out the significance of this, the solution to the puzzle is very simple.
Sergeant, taste that coffee. It's very bitter, sir. So, the Sheikh was right.
Did you get it? The point is, he's still very much alive. Right, can I have your cards, please, Jimmy? Anna? Very interesting. Thank you, Michael. Anushka? Best of good luck. Before I'm deluged with letters, I'd like to straighten up one point, and that is that Sheikh Ahmed, I think, must be suffering slightly from the heat, because he said that Mahmoud was situated in North Africa. Well, he's absolutely wrong. It's situated in the Arabian Gulf, isn't it, Sheikh? Yes.
Yes, we've had it moved.
Thank you. All right, I have the cards. Now we will ask the panel. Anushka, who done it and why?
Well, I think Said did it. And I think he sort of was in cahoots with Ahmed, but he did it. And Ahmed put some insulin in his dad's coffee just to put him in a coma. And then when he fainted, old Said and his pen that had something else in it went over and gave him a quick jab.
Gave him a quick jab?
Yes, with the end of his pen.
He jabbed him with his
Jab,
pen?
yes.
I see.
And
Yes, thank you
poison
very
went in
much.
his vein and...
I see. Yes, right. Michael.
Well, actually, I agree totally there. I went with the uncle, and the reason why I thought was because the tablets weren't phenylbutazone tablets, they were salt tablets. And while the coffee was passed over, I noticed the hand covered the cup, which dropped the salt tablet in, and made him drink the orange to take the bitterness away, which was poisoned by the uncle with his pen while no one was looking, because he was the only one left.
Thank you.
Don't half go on.
What
haven't
is
you?
the name?
Anna?
Follow that.
Yeah, who did it?
I think Jenny Roberts did it. Because I think she was very, very ambitious. And the uncle opposed the marriage. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed the marriage and the oil deal. I'm not sure whether Ahmed knew about it or not, but I think she definitely did. And she put the tablets into the coffee pot.
I see.
What she was admiring.
Thank you very much indeed. Jimmy Jewell.
Oh, I think Saeed did it.
Yes, why?
I think he filled... it wasn't the coffee that was poisoned.
No.
It was the orange juice that was poisoned.
Yes.
It was there all the way through, and I think that Saeed put the poison into the orange juice while they were all at the table over there.
Yeah.
From the fountain pen.
Thank you very much indeed.
Sounds
So that's
like
what you
a good
think?
idea.
Good. Will the real whodunit show himself or herself, please? Ah, right, bravo, bravo.
And now I should like to claim it, Mr. Pertwee.
Claim what, sir?
Diplomatic immunity.
You should be so lucky. Well, congratulations, Jimmy. Absolutely dead right. And congratulations, Michael. It's your first time in the programme and you got it absolutely on the button. Noosh, I thought you were right, but you went straight off, didn't you? You got the right fella, but you didn't quite get it right.
No, I
Why?
didn't know how he quite got it there, but that
Well,
pen had me
Michael
puzzled.
was right and Jimmy was absolutely right.
But was it in the orange juice or was it in the coffee?
In the orange
In the
juice.
orange juice,
Yes,
yeah.
I will now explain. Right, here are the details then. The coffee was an enormous red herring. The sergeant drank coffee that came from the same pot, and as I said, he's still very much alive. Now, the sheikh drank some of his orange juice earlier, but when the sheikh went to the map table, Saeed stayed behind and injected the juice from his fountain pen. Now, you should have spotted that Saeed had two pens, one for writing with and one which he said he was filling the ink. But instead of filling this one, he injected poison into it, into the orange juice, put it back in his pocket, and then produced this one for the sheikh to write with. Now, next week, the headmaster's wife, Mrs. Ide, has died with a lot of help from a knife that was stuck into her. It all takes place in a school for lovers, and if you're not sure what that is, your first lesson will be coming up at the same time next week. Meanwhile, it's good night from our panel and our cast. And if any of you are thinking of going to Mahmoud in the near future, you'll be greeted with oil, wealth, and superb Arabic hospitality. But if any of you are thinking of chasing the new ruler's fiancée, Jenny Roberts, they'll cut off your right hand. And that's just for starters. Good night.